just going to try to, I'm trying to get to know the importance of understanding binary and decimal. It's already difficult for even myself to, because we're brought up in such a situation that decimal is the commander of everything. Decimal. Whether it was done on purpose or whether it was done without thinking about it or just because it's practical, I don't know. But you can look it up and you can see the amazing aspects of the binary system. Whenever I hear some great statement from the Greeks, I just can't stop thinking that this actually was founded within the Vedas. Why? Because there was a great king called Chandragupta, and he gave his daughter Alexander the Great. So many of the things that, so they were very united. They studied each other. So some statements to the Greeks are definitely just statements from the Vedas that they gathered. One statement that they had, the rule that they had, was no circumcision. It like intercepts your energy. And another thing that they had, the binary system they would glorify. And the decimal system took away life. For them, it took away life because that's what it does. It takes away life. Let's see if I can put this on the screen just by holding it. This is Professor Yao from NASA. He was a disciple of Radhakrishna Swami here in India. And these are positive, negative, but he makes a note that these positive negatives are not in the way of electricity. This positive negative is energy. And of course we know that it's chakras. So if one looks at the image of the man and the image of the woman, each place is different. If a positive is on the head of the woman, the negative is on the head of the man. This definitely shows a distinction between man and woman. There's no... Yeah, I don't have to go into so many concepts and try to prove this. This is energy centers. And the energy centers, you don't want to disrupt them. They're our personality. So, can't change the world, but don't let the world change you. We are these energy centers. This is the reality. This is what we are. We are the binary. We live the binary system. And we go against this, we really disrupt our system. We are the mold is there, the primary mold. We are just a copy from the mold. So the mold is Krishna, or for those who just want to say God, God. But the left side is feminine. The right side is masculine. So even that. So what can I present to Krishna that he would like the most? What can I do for Krishna that he would like the most? What could I think about Krishna that he would like the most that I think about him? I could think about his two aspects. The aspect of feminine and the aspect of masculine. When they're combined, of course the masculine dominates. That's just how it is. But when they're separated, into the, hate to think just scientifically, but into the aspect of Radha and the aspect of Krishna. Radha dominates Krishna, and Krishna enjoys being dominated by Radha. But again, it's not decimal. So I had found out that when Srinivasacharya was studying with Jiva Goswami, they had the different Govardhan Shilas. And so there was a right foot and a left foot. The right foot, you can still see it in Radha Damodar. And the left foot, Srinivasacharya presented it to the son of Nityananda, Virabhadra, because he was going to get married. So he took it to Navadvip. So I had found this, and it's hard to, anybody who tries to make some authentic statement is very difficult when you're dealing with the families. So I went to the family that had the left foot. And they do have scriptural evidence, but they're so much they don't want it out of their hands that you can't try to take it somewhere and copy it or anything like that. So it's very difficult. You just have to accept. But they are in the line of Srinivasacharya. And they do have it. So I had asked, it took almost 5 years just to get the impression in my person in Navadvip. He made a copy of it. Devasi Chand. He made a copy of it for me. But this was after 5 years of trying to show him the importance. Why? Because Lalita, when Krishna was leaving the Mathura, and the gopis were all, crying and everything. They started going to the footprints of Krishna and just started taking the footprints and putting it all over their body and crying and everything. But Lalita says, don't do that. Because just the footprint of Krishna is Krishna. So just worship that footprint. Lalita. She's saying just worship that footprint. So here I have the left foot. So the left side is Radharani. And Radha Damodar temple has the right foot. I'm not trying to steal something, but I certainly enjoy having it. Don't lose the, don't lose the, don't go anywhere. I sleep with it every night. Okay, so now, one, we can't change everything, but we can at least understand that we are binary. And don't try to make me decimal. We are binary in the way that there's daylight and there's nighttime. And the things that I do in the nighttime, I don't do in the daytime. We are binary. My whole system works like that. My digestive system opens up at a certain time, shuts at a certain time. If I want to balance myself, I put my big toe of my right foot in my mouth, try to think of how to, it's hard to get all the extra energy to be grounded, but you can ground yourself. You can ground yourself. It's good to go out and stand in the sand or walk in the grass or something like that, okay? That's a good way to do it. But you can ground yourself. So I put my left foot in my mouth, and then I put my right foot in my mouth. Then I can understand that I'm balancing my whole system. So I can think clearly. I can get more of them. And how am I going to ever... I hate to go all of a sudden, go back all to Golok Vrindavan with a mobile, a decimal mobile. What a line. See? Even all the gigabytes and everything, all the measurements and everything, they can't exist without the buy system. What's the buy system? Zero. Is zero nothing? Or is it everything? Right? So much discussion can be put on that. And then 1. 0, 1. So all your measurement of all the money you have in the bank and everything has to use that numerical system, the 0, 1. The decimal system can't exist without it. It has to have the support. It can't exist without it. We can't exist without it. It may be hidden. There is imagination that is reality. And there is imagination that has no reality at all to it. The decimal system has no reality at all to it, standing alone. The decimal system, standing alone, has no reality. And in that way, it has no human aspect to it. No human aspect is there in it. And that's what I am. I'm a human. It can't stand alone. It's got to use the binary system. And then it's presented to us as if it is some reality. It's not a reality. It'll never be a reality. It'll never change. It'll never change the binary system. It can cover my consciousness and everything, but it can never change it. So the things that they want to draw out with the decimal system, and that's AI, what they want to draw out is imaginary, and it will always be imaginary. Whereas the binary system, it leads you to what I'm in an imagination. I know that. I'm in an imagination. I'm living in an imagination right now. But that imagination can become a reality by this binary system, by meditation on a binary system. As the principal binary person is Krishna. Oh, I can reach a reality. Everybody's waking up. I woke up at 3 this morning. Okay, whatever. Let's go. Anyways, after Ekadasi, you don't have such a heavy stomach. You get up easy in the morning. So, it's just a point that people should think about. We're trying to go to a point of we're living the reality. That's what we're trying to get to, that point. So one time, after a feast and everything, everybody's so happy because there was so much singing, nice singing, such worship, and then some nice food stuff. And after the prasadam is taken, everybody sits around and talks about the different vegetables or the different preparations and how good they looked. So as they were doing that, they were sitting with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Bhakti Rakshaka Shirarde tells us. And as they were sitting there, they were talking about the different preparations. So, of course, they wanted to know what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta thought about it. So he just, there's just like a time where these personalities, they just withdraw themselves. And they present something that you would never think about. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta just said, everything is as good as everything else. So, everything is as good as everything else. You have to come to that point that everything is as good as everything else. devotional service, we're surrounded by devotional services. We take ourselves out of devotional service, but it's all there. Everything is good as everything else. So recently, Achuta Lalbata, he was giving a lecture, and he's strong. He really gets into it. So for a moment, he just stopped what he was talking about. And like you felt like, oh, he's gone inner. And it's like a desire. Oh, I'm seeing this, but you're not seeing it. I want to somehow bring you to see what I'm seeing. He's not just talking about something. He's seeing, he's realizing something. So he was talking about how one of the gopis were playing a musical instrument, and how the moon and everything was lighting things up, and the whole aspects, Then all of a sudden he just stops and he says, the sound was not coming from one direction. The lighting was not coming from one direction. The whole atmosphere was surcharged. The whole atmosphere. What's being described is the whole atmosphere. Not that, microphones over here and the speakers over there and the lighting people over here. No. What is being described is the whole atmosphere. And that whole atmosphere, it's living, it's reality, it's binary. It's binary. It's got its two aspects to it. And it's just uplifting. It doesn't... sometimes if I hear a song and I remember what the song says, I'll cry, because I remember what the song says and what it means and everything. But the music itself was giving the feeling. The atmosphere itself was giving the feeling. Everything was supportive. Everything. You couldn't take it apart. Everything was supportive. And all the personalities that were there were all supportive of each other. In a binary way. That's the only thing you can see, you can detect. Oh. And the reason why is that when together, the male can dominate. When separated, the female can dominate. And the male feels happy. So I just wanted to present that to you and hope that we can either live life or just live in a system that has no life to it. It really doesn't have any reality to it. A system that has no reality to it. If I have a reality, it leaves an impression. If I gather another reality, it fortifies that impression. And if I gather much reality and much reality and much reality, then the reality starts manifesting. But no matter how much of the illusion that you take and you try to make it a reality, you can't do it. Within everything that you're using, there is a reality. But you're observing the illusion, and you're applying the illusion. Back to the decimal system here. It's getting to be 6 o'clock. Okay. It feels like, like I can't really present it. I'll put a link up, probably a binary system. There's a nice video about the binary system. And just remember that the Greeks, even the Greeks said that, that they could construct. They knew so many ways to construct. But if you use the decimal system, the nature, the beauty is gone. So they didn't want to use the decimal system because it tears apart. It tears apart the binary system. So they would only use certain tools to make their buildings. They would not go out of the tools to make their buildings. I'm thinking that's also from association with the Vedas. So our system, we're taking apart life. Yeah, we're taking apart life. We can. It's difficult even for me to see life in a block, a block that has a certain diameter and certain, whatever. Measurements and everything, and angles and everything. It's hard for me to see life in it, but there's life in it, and it gives life to a building. Whereas nowadays the architect just makes what he thinks is just beautiful, but he doesn't look for life. He doesn't look how to bring life into the building. Vastu Shastra talks about this. We know it's there. It's just that it's hard to get into all these things. Yeah. Anyways, always understand that we are living, our reality is living, and we just use the decimal system. And your mobile computer and everything, they're not decimal. They totally depend on the binary. And even the people who study the quantum theory and everything, they've come to a place where they agree that to go any further, they will have to put both feet on the other side. And more than likely, they will not be able to come back. Because by the quantum theory, two atoms can live in the same place. Two atoms. So if two atoms, then it's innumerable atoms can live in the same place. Whereas on this side, only one atom can take a space up and another atom can't. In this system, that we are in, only one atom can exist in one place. And the other side, it's unlimited. So they've said that if they make the whole endeavor to go to the other side, for sure they may never come back. So they've got to the point where, okay, this is how far we can go, this is what we can do, and if somebody wants to take a risk, go ahead. So what happens? Just a real quick. Earth, water, fire, air, and ether are on this side. And then mind and intelligence is on the other side. So what keeps us grounded on this side are the five. So if I take these, they cannot enter on the other side. And on the other side, yes, no, wrong, right, our standards do not fit this side. They don't fit. They fit this side because we are adapted it to earth, right? Earth, water, fire, air, and ether. We adapted it to it. So our governing is earth, water, fire, air, and ether. They govern our right and wrong. They govern our right and wrong, yes and no, and everything like that. So it's not on the other side of the quantum. Not there. And of course, even beyond that quantum, there's another quantum. So they know that they know there's something very vast and not understandable. So let's just stay on this side where we can understand something. It's a proper way to do things. We are trying to even go beyond the intelligence and beyond the false ego. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.